Speak up, though. I can barely hear you.
Okay, so moving on. The Miami Dolphins at the Detroit Lions. Hey, you know what? The Dolphins, I wrote a piece at 87sportsfans.com last week that it may just be time to take the Dolphins for real. This game is a very interesting matchup. If I had told you that going into Week 10, the Dolphins had scored more points than the Detroit Lions, you would have laughed me into oblivion, as you all like to do on the Monday night show. But Detroit has a very stout defense. Their offense is lagging behind, which is a little surprising to me, given head coach Jim Caldwell's background as an offensive-minded coach. And this is a team that still has Matthew Stafford on the team, but that's not. Calvin Johnson has been injured for most of the year. Golden Tate having to shoulder most of the burden, and he has responded for the most part. Miami is playing just really, really good football. They're coming off a home shutout of the San Diego Chargers, 37-0 last week, in just what was an absolute shelling, an outstanding showing by not only the Miami defense, but the offense as well. Ryan Tannehill, 24 of 34 for 288 yards and 3 touchdowns. This is going to be a very tight game, I believe, and I can't believe I'm doing this, Jim. I'm taking the Dolphins on the road here. They're 3-1 on the road so far this year. I'm going to say they push it to 4-1.
Oh, you're kidding me! I thought this was going to be my big upset special of the week because I'm taking the Dolphins too.
I'm in love with the Miami Dolphins.
Oh, get out of here! You're in love with nothing. Look, here's the bottom line. The Dolphins are a team that in the past 3 games have just given up 27 points. That's it. The Lions, on the other hand, they've given up 44 points in the last 2 games. They got Nick Fairley hurt. I think they're still reeling a little bit on offense with Calvin Johnson. Even though this is a good game for him to get back into it and have a nice little bounce back and help Matt Stafford out. But when it boils right down to it, the Dolphins, dig this stat, they have the number 9 scoring offense at 26.4 points per game. Could not believe that. Now, all that having been said, I still like Matt Stafford in this game. He's somewhere there in the top 5, top 10 for certain. He's probably a 200-yard, 2 TD quarterback this week. If he got 3, I would be stunned. If he gets 3 touchdowns, they're going to win the game. That's for sure. Joique Bell, he's about a 100-yard rusher and 1 TD. Don't like Reggie Bush. If anything, he's a flex, and that's about it. And you got to like Calvin Johnson, Golden Tate, because both those guys can do something with 200 yards passing and one or 2 scores. For the Dolphins, Lamar Miller, look at him as an RB2 or a flex, probably about 75 yards and a score. Mike Wallace, 75 to 100 yards. Charles Clay, about 70 yards. Avoid Ryan Tannehill. I just think he's such a real wild card in this game. Obviously, if he flourishes on the road as he has in recent games, I mean, he could be a good play, but I just think why risk it? Why chance it against a pretty good Lions defense? I think that the Dolphins defense and the Lions defense both make for strong plays this week, but at the end of the day, the only king of the jungle is going to be the Dolphins this week, Keith. Dolphins win on the road in Detroit.
We're the king of the jungle.
Well, I could have said ocean, but it just didn't have that ring.
Detroit's a jungle?
No! Just in general, it's an expression. You've heard it before.
Okay. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page here.
Oh, jeez. You're no fun.
The San Francisco 49ers travel to the New Orleans Saints. The 49ers had a division game last week at home and lost to the Rams, St. Louis Rams. You want to talk about heckle and jive teams in the NFL? The San Francisco 49ers are it. And they are facing off against another team, which we just don't know what to expect. Or do we? Because now they're home. They're in the Dome. They played really, really well 2 weeks ago in the Dome. Then they went to Carolina, and I was still not convinced that they were capable of beating the Panthers. And guess what? They proved me wrong. So, you know what? Here we are. We're in the Dome. The 49ers are unimpressive. I'm taking the Saints. I believe the Saints are back, and San Francisco is right now the equivalent of a rudderless ship drifting in the abyss.
Wow, that's a bit dismal, I would say.
Yes. Yes, it
is. Wow. But I agree with you to a very large extent. If you're looking at the 49ers, there's not much that can possibly inspire you these days. The numbers are still pretty good. 15th defense in the league. But going against the number 5 offense really makes it difficult to sort of look at that and say, oh, yeah, that'll work. But I like the fact that they're in the Dome, and I think that is something that will not only make the Saints score, but will make the 49ers score. So I definitely think this is one of these medium to high-scoring games this week against two evenly matched teams score-wise. But the Saints should win it. You're going to start Frank Gore as an RB2. It's not going to be the greatest matchup for him against a team giving up 102 yards and 5 TDs, but the 49ers will be using to slow the Saints offense. Mark Ingram, just keep starting this guy. I know the 49ers have a very tough rush defense, giving up about 86 yards per game, 8 TDs on the season, but I like Ingram's chances of getting to 100 again and getting a score. In terms of the passing yards, both teams have been pretty good against the pass, statistically speaking, but it's just not enough against a team which, while you might have the 15th defense out there in terms of scoring, you're going up against the number 5 offense. Colin Kaepernick is the key. I like him as a low QB1, but that's about it. Vernon Davis, a mid-TE1. Michael Crabtree, you keep starting him because he's still being heavily targeted in this offense. We just needed to connect. Drew Brees is a start. We've talked about Mark Ingram, Jimmy Graham, TE1 as a start. I think it's a little rough at the wide receivers after what we saw happen with Brandon Cooks having a great game and then suddenly falling off the table. It's getting into a situation where it's a little unpredictable. So if you're going to play him, he's a wide receiver 3 flex play. I like the Saints as a low DST1. And other than that, Keith, things should be super in the Superdome. Saints win.
Pittsburgh Steelers travel to MetLife Stadium to take on the New York Jets, the hapless New York Jets, the now Michael Vick 1-8 New York Jets. The Steelers coming off back-to-back down near perfect outings from quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. Last week, 25 of 37 for 340 yards and 6 touchdowns. Antonio Brown, 11 catches for 144 yards for 1 touchdown. They're traveling to New York, and this might be a not-so-easy matchup for the Steelers, and I'll tell you why. The Steelers come into the game averaging about 119 yards per game on the ground. That's good for middle-of-the-road, 13th in the league. The Jets' defense, 88 yards per game on the ground, 7th. The other thing is that the Jets average a $139 per game on the ground. That's good for 3rd in the league. When was the last time a 1-8 team was ranked that high in rushing yards per game, and just their passing game was so atrocious that they just still couldn't win a game? The Steelers' defense giving up over 100 yards per game. So if something happens and somehow the Jets get a lead and they manage to run the ball and sit on it, this could be an opportunity for the Jets to get a W at home. The problem is that I just don't believe that this Jets offense is capable of scoring enough points. And the Steelers are on a roll right now. Their confidence is through the roof. The Jets' defense may be the group that could slow them down, but they're not going to come out on top. I'm picking the Steelers on the road.
Yeah, and that's the way to go, Keith. I mean, here's a Jets team that's given up 24 passing TDs. It is the most in the league, and it's not even close. I mean, it's crazy, stupid bad. Then you've got their defense giving up 28 points per game, 2nd worst in the league. That is crazy, stupid bad. So when you look at this from a fantasy perspective, you're starting Big Ben. He's a borderline top 5 quarterback. Some people might even argue a top 5 this week. Antonio Brown, wide receiver 1. Martavius Bryant, wide receiver 3. Look for him to score for this 3rd time in 3 weeks in a row. And then Marcus Wheaton, get him in there as a flex. He's benefiting from this new offense now more than anybody. Heath Miller, he could well be one of the best plays this week. He's going against a team that's given up the 2nd most fantasy points to tight ends. That is crazy, crazy favorable for him. So you make sure you get him started as sort of a mid to low TE1. Le'Veon Bell, I know that the Jets have a great offense, 88.4 yards allowed per game. But you know what? Give it up to the Bell. Let him play. Let him get that 88 yards and toss in another 40 receiving and possibly a score. Michael Vick is going to end up being a high QB2 this week. For some people, that he will be their bye week pickup and play. And he makes for a decent one. The Steelers have been giving up a boatload of points as well in these last couple of weeks. So don't you let the matchup or how the Jets have been playing in general sway you against playing him. Chris Ivey makes for a play. Expect him for 100 yards, possibly a score. Percy Harvin last week just showed you what a great player he was and how the Seahawks sort of missed the mark with him. And it probably has a little bit to do with both Percy Harvin and the Seahawks, but that's a different story. Get Percy Harvin active in fantasy to wide receiver 2. Eric Decker, wide receiver 3, flex play. Steelers win. Steelers win. Steelers win.
All right, we are at the halfway point of the Week 10 matchups. We're going to take a quick break just to catch our breath and reset our brains. Don't go anywhere. 585-633-7487 to call in with your lineup questions. 585-633-7487. You're listening to the FantasyGreek.com's Week 10 starts and sits in 60 minutes on Late Night Sports Radio.
Answering my cell, no emails or texts, no messages or text. I leave the front door open for the people that I'm close to. Life short, we trying to get down like we supposed to. Scratch out all your plans, you got nowhere else to be tonight. Give it just a minute and I promise you'll see I'm right. Your people where it's at, if they don't know, they're gonna find out. Forget about the past, cause in here there's only right now. We don't need the speakers on your stereo to dance to. We'll just stomp our feet and clap our hands if we have to. And if you fall, girl, I'll be the one to catch you. The beat is in your bones, you just gotta let it pass through. We don't need no choruses or words to write a song. I'll just tell you what I'm thinking and we both can sing along. And when you're lost, all you gotta do is find your way to my house. They won't be able to see us with the lights out. Come on. There's nothing left to do. Turn the lights out. Baby, what's wrong with you? Turn the lights out. All you gotta do is want a little bit more. Girl, just shut the door. Turn the lights out. There's nothing left to do. Turn the lights out. Baby, what's wrong with you? Turn the lights out. All we gotta do is find a place on the floor. Girl, just shut the door. Turn the lights out. We're gonna make sure everybody gets the message. Plug the sucker in, we're gonna make this night electric. It's ending when we're finished and it's starting when we're starting. Leave your problems back at home, cause yo, it ain't that kind of party. I wanna feel your skin, I wanna hear you laugh. I wanna touch your hips with no chit-chat distraction. You can grab my shirt, you can pull me real close, telling me there ain't a time that you've gotta be home. Cause tonight we're gonna act like every minute lasts a day. When you're this close to me, girl, the world is gonna have to wait. And everything you ever need is in this room, I got you. You don't ever have to leave, you can stay here if you want to. Dance till you sweat, scream until you see spots. Everybody's gotta have a piece of what we got. If you want it, all you gotta do is find your way to my house. They won't be able to see us with the lights out. Come on. There's nothing left to do. Turn the lights out. Baby, what's wrong with you? Turn the lights out. All you gotta do is want a little bit more. Girl, just shut the door. Turn the lights out. There's nothing left to do. Turn the lights out. Baby, what's wrong with you? Turn the lights out. All we gotta do is find a place on the floor. Girl, just shut the door. Turn the lights out. Let's go.
Who the hell can wait till morning? Talk now at latenightsportsradio.com.
It's the FantasyGreek.com starts and sits in 60 minutes, taking you through Week 10 of the NFL season. Jim Saranteas from the FantasyGreek.com and Keith Grieve from 87sportsfans.com. 585-633-7487 is the number to call in. 585-633-7487. A reminder that Late Night Sports Radio is live Sunday through Thursday nights from 10 o'clock Eastern Time until midnight. Sundays and Thursdays, you got the Bob Sullivan Show. Monday nights, 87 Sports Fans Live. Tuesday night, you get a fresh Claire versus Car.